Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the podcast. Man, do I love interviewing bands, and this last couple months here has been a lot of fun just hammering them out, whether it be incarceration bands or other bands in general. And I'm joined today by the guys in Warpath. How you guys doing today?
We're great, dude. Doing pretty good.
I'm doing good. Apparently my mute button is nice and finicky.
That's okay. Why don't you go around the room, introduce yourselves. What do you guys do in the band?
Go ahead, fellas.
I'm Jason, and I'm the guy who does the screaming.
I'm Brandon. I play the bass.
And my name's Andrew, and I play the guitar.
So I want to know, can you tell us about the story of how the band formed?
We were all in other bands together, and we were all connected by friends and family, and we had a very important person in our life all just be gone, you know. Mikey Clement, Brandon's brother, he passed away in 2016, and they wanted to do something special. I was still in another project for a while after that, and so Brandon and Andy got together. They started doing stuff with a couple other people, and it turned into something else, and kind of went quiet for a while. And then I think it was like a year ago they hit me up and they were like, hey, why don't you try these vocals real quick? And I was like, all right, I'm game. I wasn't doing anything at the time, and now we find ourselves here, you know, a year later.
So we're a year into the band, correct?
So the project itself has existed since 2016. Actually, some of the songs that we are going to bring to the table with singles throughout the course of the next year, we used some of the original songs. So the group has been a band actually technically since 2016. It was worked on every so often. It was kind of like I was also in other bands and doing festivals and touring, and there was a lot of things that got in the way. So then we kind of all just sat down. It was Brandon and I kind of came together one day and said, you know what, let's make this kind of more serious. Let's make this an actual thing and make it the project that we're focusing on. And the beautiful thing is that we work very well together, just because there's like a lot of like prior friendship and family love between all of us. And when we get in a studio, it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of laughs. There's a lot of creativity. So over the course of time, I'm glad Brandon and I were patient. And that was kind of the key to find the right people to fill the spots. And, you know, as a 4-piece, I'm very proud of the work we've done.
Okay, who are we missing right now?
Robert. He is our drummer. He has a family, so he has a lot of responsibilities. Plus, he does construction, so he's a very, very busy guy. So we are able to at least bring 3/4 of the entire project to you.
Yeah, no problem. I just didn't want to have him felt like he was left out, so we got to give him a quick little shout out.
We asked him, and he said, "Look, I just can't make it, and we love you, Robert, and we wish you were here, but we definitely understand."
That's okay. Things happen. So you guys are a 4-piece now. Things have changed since 2016. How has the band's sound evolved since the early conception?
Okay, so
go ahead.
All right, so
no, Brandon, take this.
In 2016, we had a recording studio in our bedroom. We were, doing all kinds of pre-production and stuff. But after my brother passed, I got a group of friends together, and we wrote a few songs, and it was more of like, I don't know, it's definitely different now. It's more, more us as individuals, because everybody brings something different to the table with musically. So at first it was more of like old school Gideon, kind of jams, a lot of, but over time, before Jason, we had a different vocalist, but we never released anything with him. So we kind of dampered around in a few different genres or colliding different genres together. But overall, I think individually we've all brought our own taste and flavor to the music that we all enjoy ourselves. And I believe that these next new songs, everyone's gonna love them. I know people have been waiting around forever. We've been talked it up, talked it down, disappeared, came back, but now it's time for us to actually release some music and show the world what we've been working on.
I'll be honest. I don't know how any of us have time to do anything fun.
Me either,
Dude,
it's crazy.
It's a struggle. I mean, working and then family life, and then we have to, but we always try to find a way to enjoy the small things that we enjoy, in life.
I want to say that I'm lucky to have a wife that understands that my passion for music does not equal monetary value.
And you know what? I'm okay with saying that. I'm okay with saying this. The divorce paid off for me because it freed up my time to do this. So I'm gonna say that at least. But no, I mean the other thing that I think we have working against us is the distance. The rest of the guys live in North Carolina, and I actually am in Florida. But because of that, and I can give some shout outs right now to some people, but because of me living down here and being prevalent in the scene in this area and knowing, quite a few people down here, I have to give a big thank you to Chris Whited, the drummer from Body Snatcher.
Absolutely.
Because he put some faith in me and decided to master our material. Did a superb job. And I'll tell you, I've listened to his work for a long time. And he's one of the guys that has really stood out as a very underrated producer because, I mean, I'll tell you, dude, some of the stuff he's done with Traders, up until recently, they just went to Putney for the last, record they just did. But all of the prior Body Snatcher, Chris was producing, mixing, and mastering and releasing.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a huge thing. So I got to give some credit. And then, because they're in North Carolina, Brandon Skurlark, the guitarist from Croesus, is the guy that did all the mixing and moving around and little finite details that really, when we combined the tracking, Brandon's work, and Chris's work, it's like a A1 steak of just jams. I'm very excited for people to hear just how loud and proud this stuff sounds.
Very juicy.
I personally think it has its own little flair to it.
It does.
But maybe because that's our music, and I love that.
Not saying that I'm important by any means, but I think you should shoot me a sneak peek later. I'm talking to guys in Warpath right now, and I'll tell you what, I've known a couple of these guys for a while. Big fan. You guys have kind of started the journey since 2016. We're here in 2024. I bet the 2016 version of you guys would have a lot to look up to for you guys right now in 2024. So you guys mentioned how you had your own little flavor, your own little spin on things. What were some of the influences each of you had coming in? I want to start with Andy.
So I am a very musically versatile. My dad, I have to thank him for that because he doesn't play instruments, but damn, does he love music. He's the guy that if you mention a band, he can tell you every member, when the releases happened. And he also has gifted me a lot of stuff that I listen to actually still on records. And I'd say if I had to pick a couple influences for myself, as far as guitar playing and sound and tonality, first and foremost, this guy, Dimebag.
Oh, yeah.
Pantera has always been in my life since the 90s. I'm 38 years old. I'll be 38 in a couple, 11 days. So pretty close. But at the end of the day, I remember listening to, the hair era of Pantera with the spandex and that kind of feel. But really what set it off for me was that Cowboys from Hell record. I mean, just that sound that man created is just raw, in your face, gritty, evil, noisy, but he made it sound so professional and beautiful. So I'd say definitely big influence for me. Another one that really stands out is Zach Wilde. I mean, he's a counterpart. BLS and the Ozzy stuff, definitely a huge influence on me. And then when it comes to chord work, it's Iommi from Sabbath. Just people categorize them as metal. I call it spooky blues. It's got that feel. And if you go into the history of the band, I mean, their first record was recorded right next to a cemetery. So I mean, it really speaks wonders to what an environment and some crazy minds, come to play. Another one I'll kind of throw in there is Mark Holcomb, from Periphery.
Oh, yeah.
He's just a very well-rounded guitar player. He can shred. He can play the weirdest finger stretch chords that every time I look at, I just go, ouch. But it's also it's a Maryland thing. I mean, I was basically born and raised in Baltimore, the Baltimore County area. And I remember Misha putting up the bulb stuff on 7string.org. And being a part of those forums back in the day. So I would definitely say, though, out of the three guys in Periphery, I kind of more lean towards Mark because I use a lot of his pickups in my guitar. So we'll get to the guitar company later, but I'd say for me that would touch every bit of influence that comes out of my playing.
Fantastic stuff there, Andy. Before I get to the other guys, quick story about Black Sabbath. Sometimes I just get really bored with music. I have so much music in my life, and that's not a bad thing. It just you tune it out after a while. I have a lifting playlist, I have a driving playlist, two totally separate things. I said, you know what? Let's go back. Let's try to listen to all of Black Sabbath. Album 1, album whatever, 100, start to finish. You want to know how hard that was? It's not because it was like bad songs or anything, but like some of the production was off to me because I'm used to like more modern stuff. And that's not saying, oh, modern music's better. No, it's not the kind of guy I am. They had 20 different singers. I know 10 songs. So discovering some of the newer songs, the songs I've never listened to before was fun. But man, after doing that, I'm good on Sabbath for a while. Anyways, how about you two gentlemen?
That's okay.
So I got so many influences, man. I started as a singer. Singing is primarily my thing. I didn't start screaming until 2016, really, when his brother passed away. So to say I'm almost been here for 10 years. I'm 8 years in, I think, since 2016. So my influences are all over the place. I really liked old bands like of Mice and Men and Memphis Mayfire and that Fry style. That's always sounded really, really good.
And when you say of Mice and Men, what vocalists are we talking
Austin.
about?
We're talking Austin,
nice
for sure.
I talked to Shaylee from Of Mice and Men for a long time ago, and it was a lot of fun. But go ahead, continue.
Such a powerhouse of a vocalist. Shaylee is one of the most amazing singers I've ever heard in my life. Sorry, I don't mean to fangirl, but
we can fangirl all day, man.
Yeah, I got to, But yeah, so there's a lot of different influence in there. I think that was really the first real influence, and then being in bands and hearing bands all the time. I can't choose. I've developed my own thing. Really, I don't know. It's a lot.
Fair enough.
Come view my library. I buy music. I don't make playlists. I just put my entire library on shuffle and go.
Same way, dude. That is so true.
No bass influences, no.
Well,
Taking
okay,
Back
so
Sunday.
so originally I'm a guitar player.
Okay. That's usually how it goes.
I haven't played guitar in a band since probably 2012. I went from guitar to bass. So I have like I'm with Andy with more of like the classic rock era, you know, Zach Wild, Randy Rhoads. That's who I like. That was one of my idols for a very long time. I mean, it still is to this day. And obviously, Zach Wild replaced him when he passed as well. But their solo styles and just the way they play are really what dug it into me. And then I had an uncle when I was little that was in a rock band in Virginia Beach with the long hair, and he played the rock and roll, you know. So he was an influence for my music. But for bass, a lot of it would be like Michael Jackson, like his bass player, and like Prince. I like more of the funk stuff. A lot of slap bass, jazz. I love jazz. I don't know anybody famous or anything. I don't have idols in that stuff, but just some of the bands that you know that I listen to. But I mean, I grew up by Memphis Mayfire, Attack, you know, pretty much the same as this guy, but like you know, Chelsea Grin and Last 10 Seconds of Life. That stuff is, you know, Beartooth, and that's mostly the kind of stuff that I rotate most of the time. But I also like my Kelly Clarkson and my Britney Spears. But you know, my music genre is everywhere and from just everywhere.
So I have a couple follow-ups. Are you a fan of the new Attack?
I'm gonna be honest with you. Like new, haven't heard it. It's not
okay.
The new stuff is not on my playlist. Now if it like pops up and it's like new song release, I might click on it, I may not. And Memphis Mayfire just dropped a song and I'm a big fan of theirs. I did their production, not like head of house, but monitors. When they come to Lincoln Theater in Raleigh, I used to work there, done sound for a lot of good bands. But that allowed me to meet some of my idols as well. So that was an awesome experience. But I forgot where I was going.
That's all good.
I'll also tell you, Kevin, that man right there with a bass will give Tuck from Fit for a King a spin run for his money, because I want to see them both. I want to see them both go at the windmill competition, because I'll tell you, Brandon.
I used to.
That's a corn-fed farm boy right there, and he moves like he don't move like he's big. He moves quick. He's quite impressive.
Okay, so we have something to look forward to with the live show. Before I move to the endorsement side of things, is everybody here a Pantera fan?
I mean, I wouldn't, like, if it's on the radio and it's playing on someone's playlist, like, I'm all for it. But like, I like a few songs, but it's not my go-to.
They are not in my library.
Okay, I'll cut that part out then. Don't worry about it.
I mean, you could ask the question if you want.
I mean, I'll tell you, Kevin, like, I had the honor of playing their first show back in Mexico with a band I was in at one point. And I got to go to Hell and Heaven Fest and do something, and got to watch the new lineup, and it was impressive. Like, I'm actually kind of like blown away that they're able to pull off such a similar sound as the early days. So, I mean, that's something I can add to that point.
Okay, I've now seen the new lineup twice. Pantera is one of my all-time favorite bands. First time in Pittsburgh, second time in Sonic Temple. Sonic Temple was really good, like really good. They got their stuff together. The question I have for any Pantera fan that's seen the new iteration: can they make new music?
I think if we use an open mind, I think that they would be able to write new music. The only thing I would say is that I don't think we are ever going to get that sound back as a whole.
Right.
It's going to be, so I am very open-minded to it because, dude, you only live once. Just put the music out. Who cares?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, they're doing the live record, so that's something we have to look forward to. But I would like to hear at least one more record pop out of that band, just to say that I got to live through the entire cycle of Pantera.
Absolutely. Remember I was talking about Black Sabbath and all those lineup changes?
Yep,
They did it. They still did it. And
sure did.
if Black Sabbath could do all of that, if Attack and Reform, I mean, I'm not trying to compare Attack to Pantera, but you get the idea. I would like it to happen, and with this lineup, it's probably the only lineup I would accept. So with you guys, who all is endorsed by something? Feel free to chime in anytime.
I'm just a vocalist. I don't get endorsements.
I just play the bass right now.
So, because Brandon is involved in this project, technically he is endorsed by the same company. The base model is being worked on, but I am endorsed by one company, and that's From Hell Guitars. So if you take the word From Hell and switch the two first letters, that's how it came to be. I have developed quite a very close relationship with Julian over the course of a 3 to almost 4 year period now. I was in another project at the time, and I was originally with Legator Guitars. That was my first actually official.
I have 2 Legator guitars to my left.
I have a 6-string custom from them, and I have a 7-string Ninja Pro, which were my backups for a long time. But I just saw his work on Facebook in a 7-string forum group, and I was just blown away by the quality. And just the craftsmanship that it looked like. So I reached out, I sent him an email, and it developed what it is today. So I have 2 7-strings from them. I have, they're all custom. Actually, the first one that we created has the Warpath logo in the 12th fret, 13th fret, and 11th fret. And it's actually wood, not pearlescent or any of those other materials, because Julian takes extra care to like put his love into these things. But I will tell you, and I will go down in history saying this, these are the best instruments I have played in the almost 30 years I've played this instrument. They handle tours. They went all the way from Mexico, Texas, like different climates, and held up. I only had to have 1 repair on it, but that's because I was beating it up for like 3 months straight. And it was like a tiny fret pop out, and I had it redone, and it was done. So I will say, if people are looking for just custom work, from Hell Guitars, please go see them on Instagram, Facebook. They're on TikTok. They're all over the place. And I will tell you, they will take care of you. And you get access to Canadian wood because they're from Canada. So you're getting top-notch quality tonality wood. If you want, I can go in the closet real quick and I can break one out and show you.
Go ahead.
So this is the
Look at that thing.
Abaddon Warpath. This is the actual model number. This is a one-off. This is not going to be recreated until they get to the point for artist models and stuff like that. But you have your, nice poplar maple top, sheet of Wenge, and then curly Canadian maple. But this is where it gets beautiful.
Oh man!
Like even the back of the neck is just solid. The custom ones are 11 piece, and then there's 2 carbon fiber rods that run down the neck for stability. And then the good thing is we do bolt on so that if the neck needs to be changed out, it can be. You don't have to redo the body. And then the pickups are actually the bare knuckle Ragnaroks, the Misha ones from the bare knuckle. I think it's his 2nd set that he's done with them. But yeah, that's just one of them. I have another one that was actually used on the Warpath record, which is my purple one. And that one's a little bit different because the one I just showed you, that was hand done. There was no CNC involved in it. This was all like carved out and personally done by him. The models now are CNC'd and then hand finished, and just go check out the website and the page. It's like art all day.
Well, you have definitely sparked my interest. To the people only listening to this, man, I hope you watch the YouTube video because it's a beautiful guitar. Talking to the guys in Warpath right now, we're going to shift over into the mental health side of things. So, mental health, as you guys know, is a very important topic. How do you guys manage mental health as musicians?
Jay, if you want to start.
Yeah.
Dang, guys. Like,
And now we're
right,
getting
so-
deep.
Yeah. Put it all into the music, man. Anything negative, you know. I didn't have the best upbringing. And went through a lot of things. I'm not gonna go into super detail. Let's just say
That's
that
okay.
it sucked. Okay. So in my early 20s, I ended up doing a lot of things that I shouldn't have done, just because I didn't really know how to cope with the trauma, and I was looking for ways to numb myself rather than really, work towards something productive and something that would benefit myself. Well, not only myself, but benefit others too. You never know who's out there on the brink, and what you say or what you put on a record, or that tonality or that feeling that record gives them just takes it away. So I found music at an early age, and I think that it saved my life. Yeah, really, truly. I think that I think it's important to realize that while we may not want to feel this way, it's the uncomfortable things that make us grow. And life in itself is all about growth. It's about discovering yourself. So if you don't give yourself a chance to grow and discover yourself, you'll never love yourself. So, like, I don't know. I could go on and on and on and on and on. It's
No, I think that was a perfect answer. Thanks. Thank you, Jason. How about you, Brandon?
Ooh, this is a touchy one for me. So, when my brother passed, we were identical twins, only 21 minutes apart. I was the oldest. And we had just got done playing a show in Raleigh. And we got back home, and he pulled in the driveway, but he didn't stay. And he crashed that night. So with that being said, I struggled a lot with depression and anxiety and like the doomsday, just what could happen next. The worst things are going to happen. And I mean, I still struggle with that stuff today, but it's not as strong as it was. It's been almost 10 years. But as a man, I feel like it's hard for us to actually tell others, especially our homies, sometimes how we feel inside. And you, as an individual who isolated himself, your mind can be a very dark place. I mean, very dark. And I'm so thankful that I had these guys around, because they could see it. They wouldn't say that they could see it, but they could see it. And they would always bring comfort and, not direction, but a sense of love and like existence. My grandma said this one day when she was on her hospital bed, and she said, I feel like I'm existing and I feel like I'm not living. And it hit me. It was like, I feel like I'm just here. Like, there's got to be a reason I'm here. And with me and my brother playing music together for so long, that was our connection. So when I started this, it was in remembrance of him and to carry his legacy, because he was such I wouldn't say celebrity, but he felt like he acted like he was, and everyone loved him. He could lighten up a room. It don't matter.
He was a celebrity to you.
I mean, that's my soulmate. That's my other half. So, this project has helped me with that. It's giving me a sense of brotherhood back with these guys and Robert. So, I know that mental health is serious, and like I said, as men, I feel like we can't open up to friends sometimes. But if you ever feel like you're in a dark place, there is a hotline that you can call and talk to somebody. Sometimes it's easier to talk to somebody that you don't know.
Right. Brandon, I do want to say I'm very sorry for your loss. I know it's been 10 years, like you said, but it doesn't feel like it ever. I do appreciate you opening up about that. Quick tone shift. We have 5 minutes left, and I have one more question after this one. So, Andy, go ahead and take it away.
So, I've struggled with it for years. I was adopted, and I had a wonderful family. My mother and father have been the two most supportive people in the entire face of the planet. And then because of struggling with internal issues, I'm a recovering addict. I stopped long time ago, long time ago. About 2005 is when I stopped and took a real hard look at myself and said, you've turned into a monster. You are letting all of your evil internal issues seep out. And I got help. I opened up. And I've always been a very open book because my family encouraged me to share my feelings. I had a very much different situation than most people out there. So I'm a little bit more emotional at times because I had that ability to be that way. So to keep it short and sweet, mental health is very important because what's in here is the most important. So what I suggest to people is if you're struggling with anything, doesn't matter how small or big. Like Brandon said, there's a hotline. Don't be scared to get professional help. Therapists are wonderful. I've gone to therapy several times, and it doesn't make you weak. It makes you strong. So I would say just take it very seriously. And I would say music definitely saved my life as well.
Andy, very well said. Final question for you guys. What can new listeners expect for the rest of 2024 and beyond?
You, buddy.
You can expect some heavy freaking hitters, man. I'm ready. I'm ready to show you guys this stuff, man. Let's go.
I think people are going to be very excited to hear the new stuff, but I think they're going to like the remakes of some of the older stuff as well.
Yeah, and I'll say this, like just be ready to, dance. Like get in the middle of the circle and have a good time and bring each other up because we're there for a good time as well. So I'm ready to finally unleash this on the world.
Well, I'm ready to hear it as well. Andy, Brandon, Jason, do appreciate you taking the time and talking with me, talking with everybody today. I'm going to talk to you guys here in a little bit off air, okay?
Absolutely, and I'm going to send you those files, buddy. You get a sneak peek.
Sweet. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, guys, that was Warpath. You got to check these guys out. They got new music, and Chris Whited got together and put the master on there. And if you know Chris Whited, you like heavy music, you've probably heard some Chris Whited stuff. It's going to be great. So I'm excited to hear this stuff. Hope you guys are as well. Thanks for joining me today on this episode of the podcast. We will see you guys next time.